I'm Molly, and I am one of the technician assistants at Westonka Animal Hospital. Today, I am going to be making a video showing you how to do an Adequan injection on your pet. So you are going to need a syringe with a needle on it, as well as an additional syringe to give the injection with. You are going to need 2 alcohol swabs. The Adequan injection bottle you are going to need as well. And if you have one available, you are going to need a sharps container to put the needles in afterwards. So we take the alcohol swab out of the packaging, clean the top off with alcohol, because you always want it to be sterile. And firstly, before we even start to draw up the medication, we are going to want to draw up air. So for our patient, we are going to need 1.8 milliliters of the injection. So for the air, we're going to need to draw up 1.8 mils. And, all right, we are good with 1.8 mils there. You're first going to want to push the air back into the vial. So to do this, you are going to invert the needle down towards the bottle, put the top of the needle into the bottle like so, push all of the air out of the syringe into the bottle until there's nothing left. So you're going to want to flip the bottle, and at this point you're going to want to draw up the correct amount. So we, again, are drawing up 1.8 mils. So I am going to take the Adequan bottle off of the needle. Before I put the cap of the needle back on, I'm just going to pull back on the plunger of the syringe just to be sure. I'm not sure if you can see it, but we have a little pocket of air up top there. That's just so we know that we don't have any remaining medication in the top of the needle, because if we do, then it makes our dosage off, which isn't correct. So we want to make sure that there's no excess in the needle at the top. I'm gonna recap carefully again. If you do end up having any bubbles beforehand, just take a pen, just tap it just to make sure that you get any of the bubbles out of there. Initially, after you draw it up, it ends up being very dull. So once you end up administering it into the pet, you don't want it to be dull, so you want a new sharp needle on there. So you're going to twist that off, and since I will not be needing this one anymore, since we're switching out the needles, I'm just going to put it in the sharps container here. Here is the new needle we are going to be using. So take the cap off that, and then we are going to click that on there. You are going to want to push just enough up, I don't know if you saw that, just enough up to where there's, see it? To where there's just one drop of the medication, and once you see that, you stop. And needle's ready to go now. So now we're good to give our injection to our patient. So this is my patient Charlie, and you can either have them sitting, standing, they can even be laying down as well, whatever is easiest. You can choose either side, it doesn't matter which side you choose. I will do it on, let's see, on his right side, so I'll do it on this side right here. So, for the Adequan injection, it is an IM injection. So an IM means that it's intramuscular. So that means that it goes into the muscle as opposed to in the skin, let's say. For the injection, it's also in the lower lumbar region of the dog. So for him, it would be just right around in this area for the injection, just to give you a visual. So, using my left hand, you're going to make an L, and with your pointer finger, you're going to put that along the spine right here, and with your thumb, it's going to go just right there towards the hip region. So, feel the spine there. We're parallel with the hip region here. Once you're at this point, go about, I'd say maybe about like an inch over from where your index finger is from the spine. And when you feel right here, you'll be able to feel that it's hard. So there, you know that it is the muscle. You know that when you will be giving the injection, it's going in the correct place. Take the alcohol swab. I'm going to put alcohol onto the region where the injection is going to be going. Alright, that's nice and clean there. Carefully take the cap off. And then find, if that's how you have to do it as well, find the region again, placing your finger, index finger there, thumb right there by the hip area. Alright, so we're ready to give the injection. Make sure when you're giving the injection that when you put it in so you don't see the needle anymore, so then you know that it's fully in there, you're fully into the muscle. Just like so. Perfect. See, you can't see the needle anymore. And then, before you give the injection, just be sure to pull back on the needle like so. And, alright, I'm slowly pushing in. The reason why we aspirate is because we want to make sure that there's no blood that comes back into the syringe. If you find that there is when you're giving your injection, you need to stop what you're doing and you need to re-administer. Also, after you are done with the Adequan injection, just be sure to, depending on the side that you gave it in, just be sure to lightly massage it into the muscle. And if this is your first time giving an injection of Adequan to your dog or to your pet, be sure that you maybe have someone else with you, because as you saw in my video, my pet, I wasn't really restraining him. I didn't have a hold on him and he jumped. So if he were to have been restrained, or if I were to have been holding him better, he wouldn't have reacted like that, and you have them more securely so you know that it gets into the muscle where it needs to go. And now that we're done with the injection, we can take our syringe and the needle that we used, take the cap, put the cap back on to the needle, make sure it snaps in place. You're going to take this needle off of the syringe as well. Put the used needle into the sharps container. And that is how you give an Adequan injection.